Hey, good evening. Good Friday evening to you. How are you? I hope you're all doing well. It's Friday, guys. We made it through the week. Let's crack open a cold one, by which, of course, I mean the Fjormjor, the enemies from Limbo, the ones that Corum fought so hard to send back to their dimension. And they got pranged in the head by a Taltham for his efforts. Work in a half hour. Pasta in 15 minutes. I don't know. Anyway, how are you guys? It's good to see you. Last night was a lot of fun, wasn't it? Bob Antone was here. We talked about the upcoming album from Tinkham Road, which you should all be on the lookout for. I mean, that sounds like some fascinating stuff. And I think if you missed it, go watch it. Not right now. Watch the live stream. But it is absolutely worth your time because Bob is a fascinating guy. And of course, we had Jeremy Rule on for just a brief little bit. Jeremy introduced Bob, and then he had to go off and do Jeremy things. But it was a lot of fun having Bob on the show. We talked about folklore and mythology and spooky tales and all sorts of stuff. And of course, again, to come back around, the band Tinkham Road. And I do apologize, by the way, for the audio last night. That was wholly my fault. I didn't realize that track wasn't completely mastered yet, so it was a little hard to hear. But if you can crank the gain up on the stream, I don't talk through it or anything, so it's not like you're going to be listening. Oh, I can hear it now. Hey, guy, and you just, your ears get blown out. It's worth watching to hear Red Door, which is a very spooky track. I like it quite a lot. It definitely has that Northwest sound to it, not like Seattle grunge. It's not what I'm saying. It's worth your time. It's worth your effort to go give it a listen. If you missed it last night, just watch the whole thing. Just watch the whole thing because Bob was a great guest and it was great to talk to him. And one of the things that I found interesting was he started talking about the legend of the Banshee. I will, Ricky. I will. And I was struck by how closely that matched up with what we've got in the Monster Manual. Of course, it's under Groaning Spirit, not Banshee. But yes, the one of the things he immediately honed in on was the keening that the Banshee does. And if you look, Gary hit the same notes, no pun intended, in the description for the Banshee when he talks about its wailing or keening that is detrimental to the lives of anyone who hears it. So, yeah, really, if you missed last night's episode, go watch it after this stream. Seriously, it's really, really good. And we got gifted a song, the Owl Bear song, which among the many things that I'm going to do that's show related this weekend is I'm going to make outro credits with it. We have some fantastic music, of course, from the fantastic guys over at Bards of Greyhawk as our intro, and then outro I think will be Owl Bear, or a section of Owl Bear at the very least. But anyway, yes, Bob, lots of fun. Oh, Ricky, did you catch the show yesterday? Hello, quick save. My Friday is now complete. Gamma World and an RPG with an awesome fatigue tracking system. Yay, Bill. Well, Praxis, I hope it will be to your liking tonight. We're short some players. So tonight we're going to be it may be a shorter session, you know, but that's all good. That's okay. But among other things that I'll be doing this weekend, I will be working on those videos for our patrons, of course. I'm getting a little bit caught up with that now, I'm happy to say, working on adventures for patrons and all sorts of fun stuff. No, I understand, Ricky, but it's up there. Indulge yourself after you get done with your labors tonight. But I would say that was, a high watermark episode. It was really, really good having Bob on. I mean, I like to be challenged on episodes where I'm not just talking to someone about D&D. Every once in a while, it's fun to have somebody on and see how I can kind of make things work. But most importantly, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing and listening to Bob. Are you Hercules? Either Hercules or Heracles, one of those two guys, right? The electrician come on and just talk about junction boxes and then try and stretch that into. So would you say working in a crawl space was like being in a dungeon? No, I mean that, it's I'm not, I know, the labors of Hercules. Um yeah, I'm not gonna like try and bend it around and make something just completely that doesn't fit in the show. Um I mean, if I thought it was important enough to tell you guys, but it didn't fit the mold of the show, that is me talking about D&D and D&D related stuff, uh, I would tell you in advance. I'd say, look, this isn't, it's, this is a dude that's never played role playing games ever before in his life, but I feel you really should hear about how important it is to have a, safety in your home's electrical system. Um, that's just what I would do. I wouldn't just be like, yeah, we're going to talk to Bill Smith and he's going to tell us about electrical box. You know what else is electrical? Shocking grasp. Maybe we can figure out with Phil how many volts are delivered by a shocking grasp, Bill. And a Mark Berg to you too. I don't know what that is. Somebody just anyway. Yes, Mark Borg, it's coming up. Not tonight. I mean, but anyway, so yeah, I like that kind of show because again, one D6 plus 1 volts. Oh, there you go. It was good having him on. Gotta get Jeremy back on the show too, because Jeremy plays in my Monday night D&D game, and it'll be interesting to hear his to hear his thoughts and perspectives now that he's been gaming with us for these many, many, many years. Well, I think it's been many. I think it's 2018, 2017, something like that. That's one thing, man. When there's ohms, volts, amps, you don't get killed by volts, you get killed by amps. You can get hit with 100,000 volts, but if it's like microamps, you won't even feel it. You get hit by 1 volt, but if it's 50 amps, you die. That'll kill you. Too many amps. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the dad joke. I'll tell you this shocking grasp. I was in my mid teens, this is 14, 15, maybe. And I was press ganged into working, hanging drywall with my dad. And I I basically I grabbed 110 volts. It was running off of pre-existing electrical conduit in the building, and it was residential, not industrial, not like 220 or 440. I'm still here, but my the screw gun I was putting up metal studs, and it stopped working, and I looked back along the line, and sure enough, it'd come unplugged. So I walked across the floor, didn't realize I was too tired or whatever that I was standing in a puddle, and I knelt down, and they'd come unplugged just enough for there to be no electricity. I reached down and picked it up and immediately put it down. It's my left arm just kind of went neat. So yeah, I got bit a little bit from that. But I'm still here, unless this is one of those some occurrences at Owl Creek Bridge where like my heart has stopped and I've just imagined the following 37 years of my life. But anyway, I speaking of physical things, I had a physical yesterday. Everything seems to be fine. I am in good health, and that made me very happy. So I was like, oh my God, what if I, go? And she's like, your blood pressure is 300 over 250, and you've got skin failure, and your skeleton's about to collapse and all that jazz. But no, I'm fine, at least for now. Thanks for all the thoughts and prayers. But I keep saying that, but it's like the guitar bridge in Heartache Tonight by the Eagles. Boom. I imagine my whole life that sounds like a sci-fi novel. Yeah, that's a very it's an interesting trope. There was a movie that was released in the 1960s, and I can't remember exactly what it was called, but Rod Serling saw it and he fell in love with it. And he tried to sell it, like he was like, I want to get this on American TV. People have to see this. And producers are like, well, no, we're not going to do that. It's not good. People aren't going to like it. And he said, fine. And he bought it to use in Twilight Zone. It ran, I don't know, it's probably 90 or 100 minutes. So he just had a 3-parter Twilight Zone episode and did some clever editing and got it that way. And the episodes are called An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. And so there's this Confederate soldier, and he gets captured by the North. And they take him to hang him because he's a spy. He's caught spying, so they take him to hang him at Owl Creek Bridge. And so they put up the gallows, or they put the noose on him. They're just going to throw him over, and he's going to hang. And he slips away at the last minute, falls into the river. He's on the run, and he has all these misadventures. And he finally makes it home. Like he just wants to get home. And when he gets there, he realizes that he can't interact with anyone. Nobody is responding to him. And the punchline is none of this happened. This was literally just a flash in his brain as he was falling and the rope was about to tighten of what if I got away? So the entire movie is just his moment as he hung there dying. Which if you've ever seen the movie Jacob's Ladder, it's very much like that. I do recommend it. Both of them actually. Although Jacob's Ladder is played up more like an Exorcist or, um, you know, other type of horror movie. Um, an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. And again, that probably the easiest way to catch it is to track down the Twilight Zone episodes. Um, let me see here. Now I want to know. Um, let's see. Based on a short story by Ambrose Bierce. And that is what the film is called too. I'm, I'm about to butcher this. La Rivière du Hibou, the Owl River. And it was the winner of the Cannes Film Festival, or Cannes Film Festival. 1962, yes. Not 19,622. Hello, William Sova. Good to see you. Jacob's Ladder is a good flick. It's a depressing movie. Well, I don't know. I think it's kind of depressing myself. But ultimately, both are worth your time and attention. You should check them out. I don't know that I would use that trope in a tabletop role playing game. You were actually dead all along. Because I think because of Jacob's Ladder and because of an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, or there's even other tropes. I mean, The Wizard of Oz. Oh no, you dreamed the whole thing. You were dreaming the whole time. Um, C.S. Lewis does this with the Chronicles of Narnia. That basically the rather dark big reveal at the end of the cycle is that um, the train they were on to take them out into the country was bombed by the Germans and they all die. And that the entire Chronicles of Narnia is them beginning to experience the afterlife and the times when they are not in it and they, flashing in and out is them fading in and out of consciousness. Hail, Michael Connor, Unbreaded. Good to see you. Rocks fall, everybody dies. Rocks fall, everybody was dead all along. But I just think that it's such a trope that, I mean, depending on your players, they might enjoy it. Or depending on your players, they might feel like they were cheated. They might feel like they were ripped off. So I should watch it again. I forgot the end. I looked at the Wikipedia thing and I did forget the end. You know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of the Black Pirate ship, or the Black Ship rather, which is in Watchmen, when he goes home and can't he can't bring himself to interact with anyone. Hail and well met, Lord Corian. Good to see you. But anyway, where was it? Oh yeah, we're talking about some occurrences at Owl Creek Bridge. I don't know. I just think that there's some events like you can do one time one time and one time only, and it doesn't really like, it has a lot of impact, but it should be like that campaign should end on that note. Like the Jacob's Ladder ending, the Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge ending, um, that should be it. The one time that you do that, and you shouldn't go back. You should not revisit that well. Especially if you're in D&D, if it's like, oh, the whole thing was your dying moment. Well, my cleric has contingency. He has raised dead, or all of our players have a simulacrum or a clone. Yeah, I guess Donnie Darko kind of works like that. And there's some twists on it. I mean, I think probably you could say that the ending of Fight Club was a twist on the whole X was Y all along. The whole thing was made up. The whole thing was in the person's head. Um, there is some debate by fans of the film as to whether or not the movie, now the book, the author of American Psycho is pretty much like, yeah, no, he was killing people the whole time. And indeed, in other books by Brett Ellis Easton, Brett Easton, no, I can't remember. He's pretty adamant because there are other books in that universe that reference Patrick Bateman basically being run to ground and finally killed by the police in a shootout. And it's just like mentioned in the background of another book that people are talking about, all the horrible killings that Patrick Bateman committed. Quick Save says, I was on an exercise one time and the heater in the tent stopped working. It was so cold that night. I wasn't sure if I didn't die that night. Well, Quick Save F5. I don't know what kind of Descartesian reassurance to give you other than to say, I know I'm here, which just means you could be an imagining of mine. Maybe something terrible befell me when I fell down the stairs in my house when I was a kid in Gadsden, or that time I got beaten in the face with a baseball, maybe it fractured my skull. But what was another? It's really more of a weird time travel movie, but there's the butterfly effect. You maybe group the butterfly effect in that same kind of category, couldn't you? Quick Save is a shared hallucination by us all. No, 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 no. I'm the shared hallucination by you all. When y'all stop believing in me, I disappear. And that is literally true. If nobody watched the show, I wouldn't do it. Isn't Frank the kid from Independence Day? No, you're thinking of Will Smith. What? It was funny. So I have the summary of the recent AD&D game, and I want to share this with you guys, not just to subject you to my prose, although that's pretty awesome itself. I'm just kidding. I don't break my arm patting myself on the back that much. Hey, Wig. I didn't realize that was you, my dog. Good to see you. No, the reason I want to read the summary from the last game is one, I haven't done it in a while, and because the two previous sessions were largely, all right, who's going to get this XP? Who's going to get that XP? And I'm kind of guessing that you guys probably don't care so much about hearing, like, you know, uh, Dan's dwarf got a ring of invisibility. And I mean, even if I went through the whole catalog of everything they did, even though they took 45 minutes debating who should have the book that can increase someone's strength by 1 point, who should have the book that can increase someone's intelligence by 1 point, and so on and etc. I've never seen Doom Generation. But that would just, I mean, you wouldn't care. I joke that the A in AD&D stands for accounting, but it really, really did. Dwarf mage in that order. No, he's a fighter. But we did get to a point after a couple of weeks of A for accounting where the party was actually doing like role playing and adventuring kind of stuff. And if you guys will permit me, I will tell you about that for a couple of reasons. A couple of reasons. One, I think you might find it entertaining. And two, I actually want some audience feedback on this, not a dopamine hit from people saying, "Oh, that's so brilliant. That's so beautiful. You're so wonderful, Bill." That's not what I'm after. It's nice when people like the things that I say and the things that I do. But this is a legitimate, you are old school gamers. I am an old school gamer. I want to share this moment with you. I want your opinion on this. Hey, thank you, Random Internet Hijinks. Random Internet Hijinks says, a player in my campaign was having his monk PC sell flowers in town. Since I felt this was unbalancing the in-game economy, don't mix. Good Lord. Thank you again. I sent a flock of cursed sheep to eat all his flowers and all of his seeds because you can only. You spent $10 on that. You beautiful human being. You can. You may throw those jokes at me anytime. That was awful, and I absolutely love it. You magnificent bastard. I salute you. Ban him, hell. I'm gonna have him on the show. Thank you, Random Internet Hijinks. I appreciate the super chats and I appreciate that joke. But basically, guys, what it comes down to is I want your reaction and I want your feedback. Don't worry about my pros. I want to know if my game has gone kind of weak sauce. If you guys are of the opinion that my game, from an AD&D perspective, has gone weak sauce, and by weak sauce, I mean like the the big Stevie Nicks hair days of Dragonlance and Forgotten Realms level of AD&D. Wow, that was great. Do you want to tell another joke, Random? You can. I will repeat them. I will sticky them. All right. So this is the next chapter. Adventures in Greyhawk, Many Happy Returns, in which our party returned from the lost caverns of Sojkonth takes a long needed rest, but not a long rest. The party continued to take stock of the treasures they had taken from the lost caverns. The men-at-arms had, with more than a little bit of a stern hand from the sergeant and the lieutenant, behaved themselves while furloughed in the city of Highfolk, and for this the elves and other people of the city were grateful. For the remainder of the month of readying the tomes, save the Demonomicon of Igwil, were studied by those gifted with the items. The elves were ready and able to help Olinda Fayfair become more adroit with her spellcasting, although she left off both her thieving and fighting skills until later. Much debate amongst the adventurers was had over what to do with the Demonomicon, Daoud's wondrous lanthorn, and the prison of Zagig. The latter item was sealed to any attempts to open, but was still crammed full of apparently valuable jewelry. The full nature of the lanthorn was yet unexplored. The Demonomicon, then, was a center of concern. The tome had not radiated an air of evil, but on close examination by Caerleon, it did radiate chaos energy. Jaden took a sojourn north and east of the city, called by instinct, and met members of the higher Druid circle. Dame Arlune, a very dark-skinned Flanish woman whose age could only be guessed at. However, her mien was always quick and youthful. A stern, bare-faced Urdian named Faldrolfin, and Dornbrelor, who could easily be mistaken for a common, if a very tall and portly friar. What counsel Jaden held with them during his chastening as he ascended the druidical hierarchy, he kept to himself. However, regarding the Demonomicon, they advised him to seek the high-ranked druid Hetra, who had wandered between the city of Greyhawk and the Wild Coast, that he might know something of the nature of the tome. This last bit Jaden imparted to the group. Logan was pleased, if not unsurprised to consider the martial nature of elves, to find a Fletcher and Bowyer with an array of magical arrows for sale, and these he bought. Likewise, Etho, now having achieved the wisdom and skill to use his thaumaturgical and holy powers equally, sought out and acquired magical inks for scribing into spell books. These he shared liberally with Venerin and Olindra so that they might inscribe into their own. There was joyful news from both Brand and Jane. The high priest professed his undying devotion to Jane and had asked her hand in marriage. She had many seasons past been smitten with Brand Grayson and joyfully accepted. These events put aside, the party now turned their labors to the Demonomicon of Igwil. They had told the Council of Syndics of Highfolk nothing of the nature of their exploration, although there still lived a rare few elves who remembered Igwil's reign of terror a millennia past, nor what they had returned with. So, electing caution, they traveled for 4 days from the city towards the Velardriva River eastward to find a lonely spot on the plains to study the tome carefully. Should any curses or other calamities be released, it would be here in the open waste, leagues from remote farmlands, rather than in the heart of their host city. However, before they could open the volume, they were approached by a Naga. The Serpentine, being alien to these cold lands as far as they knew, came and spoke with them. It had been a docent and a shrine of Rao for many generations. However, in a recent time, the temple had been overrun, plundered, and occupied by a force of giants and ogres, led by a deadly beholder. The Naga, feeling that it had failed in its duty and unable to overcome, either by magics or its own small martial abilities, the foes, lay down in a cold bank and prepared to give up its life force. As it slipped into catalepsy, the Naga said that it had a clear dream vision for a week, that a host would ride forth from the city of elves, and with him would ride a trio, a warrior of holy and good might, but of a dark god, a woman of a different order who walked into realities, and one of dwarven kind who eschewed his own gods for the path of Rao. Likewise, the Naga envisioned all of them separately and recognized their innate abilities and classes. It begged them for assistance against the beholder and its minions, offering all material aid it could, and any treasure or monies that the foul beings had would be forfeit to the party as weregild. They bade the kindly being a few days' countenance, but otherwise agreed to take up its quest, and the Naga departed, agreeing to meet them again in their campsite in 2 days' time. Not fully trusting serpent beings, Logan donned his cloak of elvenkind and trailed the creature, unseen and unheard, to ensure that it was not departing to lay some ambuscade against them. Hours it went away and finally entered the bole of a great tree. From within, the ranger could hear the Naga praying to Rao for the safety of these adventurers. Satisfied that the creature was indeed as it is said, he returned to the party. Now they began to prepare to open the Demonomicon of Igwil. A protection from evil 10-foot radius was cast. Jaden, Brand, and Etho stood by ready to cast spells should the volume bear some curse or trap. Veteran opened the gilt-sealed cover of the book. An awful yellow glow and a trilling accompanied by a smell of brimstone, and with a flash of green energies, an dreadful archvile suddenly appeared outside the circle of protection. Immediately the horror began its unholy prayers. Petra and Grindel threw flasks of holy water true, and the being hissed and paced back and forth rapidly, its concentration broken. Others leaped into action, bringing weapons to bear. Kane used his ring of invisibility to hide himself and began to maneuver behind the disgusting thing. Jaden protected Venerin in a shield against magical flames. More holy water was thrown, scalding the creature, but not before it detonated its awful flame strike on the magic user. Venerin then cast a feigned death spell to detract and deflect the creature. Force of arms were brought against it as Caerleon, Petra, and Grindel sprang to attack it. Logan and Jaden thrust at it with spears. Blows rained down on its putrid golden yellow flesh, and it began to summon its awful flame strike again. But before it could be brought to bear, the creature was hacked and chopped to pieces. Not before resisting a lightning bolt from Etho and a dispel evil from Brand. Etho moved quickly to salve the horrible burns covering Venerin's exposed skin. Brand cast no alignment, and Jane used Detect Evil both on the book that lay on the makeshift left lectern next to Venerin. Jane cried out, pointing at the fallen form of the magic user. He is evil. It was here that the rest of the party found out that Venerin wasn't neutral. He was neutral evil. So that's where we left off. There was a lot of discussion about when and where and how to open the book. Do we rent a house in the town? Well, what if demons pour out of it? Do we just destroy the book? What if demons pour out of it? Or what if it can't be destroyed? Should we sell the book? Somebody else will open it and worse could happen. Do we tell the syndics in High Folk? There was just a lot of debate over what to do with it. And I don't think I stepped too far away from your standard AD&D adventure. I mean, the Naga was a random encounter. And I just went with it and I said, well, why would a Naga be crawling around in what is essentially March in this climate, this time of year, at this time of day, localized entirely within Greyhawk? So, I just kind of mulled over it in my head and I said, well, it needs help. And then I came up with the idea of the beholder and so on and whatnot. I wanted a challenge that seemed to match the abilities of the party. But again, I knew they were going to open the book. So I don't feel like I slid too terribly much into, again, a romantic fantasy territory. No. And we had a couple of asides, which I documented here, that really, because it was the players interacting with me. I mean, I've got NPCs to run. I basically, I'm the world, and that includes people that the player characters might be smitten with. So I, via private message, role played out the cleric, the player and the cleric, the player of the cleric and Jane interacting and him asking to marry her. And I role played out the druid's interaction with the druid's council. Praxis, you've got a super chat for that, okay? I'm just kidding. You don't have to super chat for that. So you guys tell me. I mean, yeah, I guess what I'm saying is I feel like I want to keep my game at a nexus of fun to play for me as a DM, fun to play for the players, good role playing opportunities. I mean, if Kyle was in here, I mean, if he's Kyle, if you're just listening to this on the side and you're just clicking your tongue and saying Thespy, 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 I get it. I get it. But what do you guys think? What are you of the opinion with regard to this? I mean, I've got probably that length in interactions that I had with the players in private messages in Discord as we played, and then I took those notes and kind of fully extended them out in the write-up of the game. So maybe it's not completely fair for me to say, hey, what do you think, and then not tell you. But again, it would just be me reading my prose, and I don't know that it's good enough for that. I mean, I shared it on Reddit, so maybe I do think that it is. But I mean, I guess what I would say is that I don't want this to wind up like a Dragonlance-y kind of thing, a romantic fantasy sort of thing. I don't know if this is overdoing it or not. So you guys, feedback. We've got a while before 9:30, so you guys tell me. I mean, because sometimes what's good at a table, just you tell people about it, and they're just like, that's nice, I guess. Man, it got quiet out there. God, I can't believe that joke. Michael Connor says, I learned something about Stevie Nicks watching Professor of Rock super hot, but she really got around. She really did. All right, I'll link the Reddit post. Needs more cowbell. All right. There's the Reddit post link. You guys can read it. Yeah, Stevie Nicks, nice lady. What was it? I saw a meme. It was like a picture of Alanis Morissette and a picture of Stevie Nicks side by side, and it's like, Alanis Morissette wrote "You Ought to Know" about her boyfriend Stevie Nicks, about what a jerk her boyfriend is. Stevie Nicks wrote songs about what a jerk her boyfriends were when both of them were in the band, and then she made them play them and sing them. And I don't know if she changes, but yeah, by all accounts, she did pretty much love her some booger sugar. So I can't remember if I mentioned this last night or even the night before, I was crowing about finally getting my resin printer completely dialed in. Yeah, no. Nope, sure did not. Set it up tonight, or earlier today rather, not even tonight. Set it up earlier today to run a print off for a friend. Um, uh, was going to run a Pokemon off, and yeah, just stuck right to the inside of the tank. Just it it looked so malformed. It was so sad. I brought her that because here's the thing. I printed this. This is a, and I know you can't see it real well, but I printed this Macross Valkyrie. This is not a solid print. I actually did this in pieces, which that may be what I end up doing with her Pokemon, because it's actually smaller than this, but it's all one solid piece. But what I might end up doing is cutting it into pieces. But this printed up just fine, and I was like, "Yay! I got it dialed in. This is awesome. This kicks ass." And then, yeah, it just fell off and got stuck inside the tank, and just oh, it's a horrible mess. So anyway, um, you know, but I got my little half scale Macross Valkyrie printed up. I say half scale. The actual STL file is twice as big, so it's like that tall and that wide and so on and etc. Um, will I try and print this the proper size? Not yet. Not with the way things are. I mean, I may try and figure out how to print hollow. I don't know. I don't know. I'm disappointed that I can't get things dialed in as well as I would like. I came so close and it didn't work out. So that's life, right? But anyway, we're gonna get started here in a little bit, in just a little bit with Gamma Roll. Now, tonight's Gamma Roll may run a little bit short just because we're actually short players. We do have a few players out tonight, and they will be missed. But hopefully everyone will be back next week and we can just jump right back into it. Monday, we'll be back with just kind of a weekend kickoff. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the Giants series of modules. Now, if you're one of my Monday group, please don't read ahead. But I'm really, really wanting to get my to get the Monday night AD&D group into Against the Giants. But got a little bit of trouble here. Got to deal with a beholder, some hill giants, some ogres before we quite get there. And there might be some more loot. There might be some more leveling. But I do want to take a look at the Giants series again because I think it's time. I sort of did a broad overview of G1, G2, and G3. What edition of Gamma World am I running? Why, the best edition, first edition. So we're going to start that on Monday. We're going to start a comprehensive, deep dive into the Against the Giant series. Not G1, 2, 3, not GDQ 1 to 7. We're going to start with G1 and we're going to roll up our sleeves and we're going to look at what it takes to kick off and run these modules, because I'm going to be doing that. The first module you brought was the 25th anniversary reprint. So was that, when you say the 25th anniversary reprint, I promise I have a command of the English language. I promise that I do. Oh, my players just was on and they ran away. But when you say that, was it in the boxed set? Because I've done an unboxing of that years and years and years ago. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. I did an unboxing of it. I may do an unboxing overview of it again, just for folks who haven't seen it. But I don't want to just repeat the same content over and over again. But that was the series of videos that I did, and I haven't brought them over to YouTube, quite frankly, because they're really not good. And I don't know that many of you started over, I said over on YouTube, I meant over on Facebook. So if you guys would like some D&D Antique Roadshow again, with the slightly better production values, we can start it with the G series, which I think I'm going to do. The silver cover one. So there's that kind of return to Against the Giants. The one that was, it was amped up for second edition and had a few second edition edits in it. But anyway, be that as it may, we'll dive into that on Monday and take a closer gander at it. I'm not too worried about my players cribbing notes. I mean, I'm going to cover the whole module over the course of the evening. I'm not exactly going to give them an opportunity to sit there and scribble stuff down. The rest of Jeff, yeah, that was the one. I mean, other than the numbers, I don't want to get too deep into it right now, but other than the numbers, like the number of hit dice and the damage they do out, I mean, text wise, it is kept pretty much the same. I say pretty much because Sean Reynolds is a bit of a simp and like argued with Gary over changing things. Like, I think the fact that drow weapons and armor disintegrate in sunlight is bad design. And you just like being a dick to players, Gary. So I'm changing that. And that's practically what he said about it. Also, Sean said in the introduction, I never played Against the Giants, but I'm sure as hell going to edit it. Oh, here's Reynolds. That's his opinion. I wouldn't do it unless I had played it. It's like being asked to come in the studio and edit, a newly discovered Led Zeppelin album when you've never heard a note that they played. How can you know? How can you know? But anyway. Kevin over he should have to change his name. He's the one that sucks. Damn right. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. Monday we're gonna get into Against the Giants. We're gonna start off with G1 and we're gonna take a good comprehensive look at it, because I think you may be surprised. Number 5 may surprise you. I think you're going to be surprised by exactly how much stuff there is in an 8-page module. That's right. Everybody thinks of, Against the Giants, you mean this 64-page module with all these encounter. No. G1 separately, G2 separately, and G3 separately. And you are going to find yourself very, very, very surprised by how much stuff there is in a tiny, tiny amount of pages. And I'm looking forward to it. And I hope you guys are looking forward to it. So we're coming up on the top of the hour. Well, not on the top of the hour. We're coming up to the bottom of the hour. which ends the preamble show, as it were, because we're almost at 9:30. So I want to take a minute here to thank our show supporters. We have both, in addition to super chats, which you guys can super chat at any time. We have Patreon, and we now have Subscribe Star. So there's 2 ways to support us outside of the chat, 3 ways to support us overall, if you like to do that sort of thing. But hey, I appreciate everybody's help with the show, everybody's input. You guys are all awesome. And I love each and every one of you. So let's take a moment to thank our patrons. Thank you, Digital Discord, Joshua Garlock, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Doomsword Deathmaster, Mark Simpson, Damien247, James F. Keck and his entire studio, Observatory, William Smith, the Dungeon Minister, Manny Wall, Mark Corey, Kevin Wood, Todd Sharp, and the increasingly distressingly named Carnivore Farmer. Although since we're playing Gamma World, maybe that's a little less scary. I don't think so. Nope. Still terrifying. So again, Monday, we're going to go into G1. Tuesday, we're going to do G2. And then after G2, we're going to get into our Let's Play AD&D. Wednesday, if Kyle's here, we'll find something to Kyle about. If not, Wednesday, we'll do G3. Thursday, D1, Descent into the Depths of the Earth, which begins what I consider your graduate course in dungeon mastering. And then Friday, we find ourselves right back here. Want to give ourselves some room to breathe. So we'll just hang out on Friday before Gamma World. Sound good? Sounds great. So I'm going to put on the old studio cans here because I cans. Because we got some folks coming in here to play a little bit. Oh, Gamma World. Gamma World, oh, Gamma World. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Hey. Good evening.
Hope you're doing well.
Good. So, for those of you folks who maybe missed out last time, the party had confronted and managed to overcome a base full of Knights of Genetic Purity. And by releasing a potent mutagen, had caused them, at least for a little while, to become mutated themselves. Now, that happened about a standard month ago in game time. Since then, some of the Knights of Genetic Purity recovered from their mutation and decided, we still hate mutants, and thus were realizing that they were outnumbered and outgunned, begrudgingly left the missile base of the Ancients. Some of them, however, realizing, hey, maybe, we might end up as outcasts if we try and contact other Knights of Genetic Purity, if they find out what we were, or maybe we're technically mutants now to begin with. But either way, the calming effects of the X70 mutagen definitely gave them a different perspective, and they decided to remain and help build anew. Some of the folk of Goodwater still lived. They were imprisoned there in the base. You discovered them. So Goodwater, once again, is a farming community and is providing food to most of the region. Now you have this massive missile base. And as you've spent a great deal of time exploring it, you found out that it's not It's not hermetically sealed anymore. Exploring through some passages and ducts and so on and etc., you found further up in the hills that the thing occupied tunnels that have been laid completely bare by the ravages of war. Parts of it you'd never know that were like there were other parts that were in such disrepair, but so it's not like you can just shut the main door and be safe forever like the Knights of Genetic Purity thought you could. There are other ways. It's a bit more strenuous than jacking open the front door and storming the castle, as it were. But with Goodwater now repopulated and occupied, a small team of folks, including the occasional Orlin, because they have taken an interest in technologies that come from before the war, so they stop by to trade with it fairly often. But you've been able to stock up on medical supplies, and let me just pull up the old PDF here. Where is it? You encounter a Gorgon. Oh, sorry, I have the AD&D Monster Manual open here. It's wrong book. No, you stock up your medical supplies, and each of you is now in possession of a couple of where are they? Let's see. Basically, they're the meta packs that are in the powered armor. You learn how to apply those. Yes. So if you find a meta pack, you can heal yourself, regardless of when or where you find it.
2 of those, you said?
You each get 2 of those. And there is security armor. There is enough security armor in the base. Now, one thing that there was a lack of was firearms. You still basically have what you had. And sadly, no grenades. Let's see. Armor. With the exception of Gurg, because, he's the size of a Pomeranian, you're all able to find body armor, plastic armor, which is something that the ancients made. Let me see. I will tell you what armor class it is unless someone else knows it off the top of their heads. All right. Oh, here we are. So that gives you all armor class 3.
Question. Is this
better than Carapace?
Is this something I could wear under the power armor, or is there like a trunk in the power armor that I could store an extra one in?
You might be able to fashion some kind of sling to carry it, but yeah, you can't wear plastic armor inside the power armor. It would, when the power armor clamshells shut, it would squish you.
Okay, then I will make a sling.
Okay. And it does take you a full combat turn to get out of the suit, get your armor, and then another combat turn to get your new armor on. So basically for, if you say that's what you're doing and you commit to it, then that's what you're doing for the time being. And I do want to point something out. Literally almost immediately after you had overcome the Knights of Genetic Purity in the base, you got a low power warning on your armor, and it shut down shortly thereafter. No. So the power armor has a limited charge to its battery, and you discover, kind of one of those flashes of, wait, I remember these things have to be charged up. Let me tell you.
I think it has 2 atomic energy cells.
I'm sorry?
The power armor has 2 atomic energy cells.
Okay. That is, let's see, I need to find the equipment list real quick here. It is hiding from me. But I will tell you here momentarily. In the meantime, guess what? You all leveled up, so to speak. Now, for our viewers who don't know how leveling works in Gamma World is not a game with levels. Gamma World allows you, when you hit certain experience points thresholds, to roll a d10 and gain something in the net result. So, Yang, why don't you go ahead and roll a d10 for Rex, and I will tell you what your result equals.
10.
A 10. That's actually pretty good because I believe, let me see here. +1 point per die of damage inflicted by non-energy weapons employed. So if you try and brain somebody with a stick or a sword or a pike or a club or anything like that, you gain an additional point of damage. All right, next up. Mobius, roll for Milo. Mobius.
4.
4. +1 to charisma. That is +1 point to your charisma.
Excellent.
And Kevin, roll for Borongo.
6.
+1 point to intelligence.
I'm kind of dumb, so this is good.
What does that raise your intelligence to?
To 14.
That's not bad.
Because it's over average.
Yeah, way over average. You're definitely smarter than the average bear. I mean, you take that as a factor of IQ. You now have an IQ of 140, so enjoy it. So let's see here. Let me find out about that power armor. Do you know how many times the word powered armor show up in this damn book?
All of them.
All of them. It's pretty much it. Gamma World, powered armor, powered armor, powered armor, powered armor, powered armor. Let's see here.
Page 34.
Page 34. So your battery life is basically 48 hours of constant use. And at that point, you have to replace the atomic energy shells. Now there were some in the base, so you're able to grab a couple more. And understand, you don't have to use the suit all the time. Just letting you know that.
But it's so cool.
Yeah, I think I do.
I beg to differ.
Yeah. No, when I put the suit on, it stays on.
I imagine it's got some massage features in there, like those massage chairs.
It's a shiatsu. A shiatsu power armor.
Some very soothing shamisen music plays. Sort of the entire interior lighting of the suit.
So,
this light pink color.
You said a month's gone by. We've been exploring this place.
Yes, a month has gone by. There's still parts of it because there are the few people who can be spared from the harvesting, and there's a lot of stuff that's got to get repaired back at Goodwater.
I'm just kind of wondering about our home base. Have we sent runners back with food or supplies for them? Because that was the whole part of us coming out here. Are they all dead?
Oh, no. I mean, you can definitely have sent back word that, everything was going to work out just fine. In fact, the quickest way to send someone back would be to let them use your vehicle of the ancients. Unless you yourselves want to go back to Outpost 76 and tell them.
Well, I was kind of thinking maybe they could use more gardeners and people here to populate Goodwater, and we could send for them to come here.
Well, that's entirely up to you guys. You do know that Outpost 76 does kind of serve as a defensive point there in the little valley it's in, because the radioactive waste to the west, terrible creatures could get through. But then you've encountered some pretty terrible creatures on this side. So I'll leave it to you guys as to whether or not you want to try to persuade Steve of the Technish and the rest of the inhabitants of Outpost 76 to move.
We definitely needed to get supplies back to them.
Yes. And I mean, if you can, or rather, if you want to take the ground car back, it's really not more than like a day's drive at most, even accounting for the broken terrain. And you think you could probably load, picking and choosing carefully, a month's worth of supplies in the ground car by itself.
Excellent. What do you say, fellas?
Nice.
Road trip?
Say, let's go.
Sounds good.
All right.
We got to take care of. There's that Blesh halfway back we encountered on the way here.
All right, so some of your companions are going to remain here at the base to continue to explore and discover what they can, but they will see you when you... I'm assuming you're returning after you take some food back and tell them of your adventures.
For sure. Go say hi to Mom.
Sure. Well then.
So I am going to say that I will leave the power suit here for now.
Okay.
So
Gerg's rubbing his paws together.
I'm just going to let everyone know they should go easy on it. Sticks a bit going into third.
Gerg's going to be driving it around like a Mobile Suit Gundam. sitting up in the helmet with lanyards and stuff connected to all the feedback devices. Anyway, all right. So, Rex, you feel like a snail out of its shell. You've gone from a mighty armor class 2 to a puny armor class 3 now.
With a shield, right? So we should have 4 or 2.
Oh yeah. You guys, if you're sharing a shield, I mean, the suit doesn't come with a shield. There's no riot shields or anything like that in the base. But if you give him one of your shields from a companion that wasn't killed in the past, or who was killed in the past, rather, then he can absolutely have +1 to his armor class.
Yeah. Oh, sure. I'll do that. So wait, that would take it back down to 2 then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Alrighty. So, are you basically just going to go back the way you came, or are you going to try and explore a different route, or what?
I think we should go back the way we came.
Yeah,
Minus maybe not
Yeah.
go through the blush area.
Yeah.
We'll go around that somehow.
Yeah. Danger, giant radioactive butterflies.
Yeah, not good.
Well, not good for you guys. It's hilarious for me as a game master, but for you guys a lot less so. Okay, so Gerg has helped you get your come to grips with the Chariot of the Ancients, and it has been recharged. It too was on its last legs as far as charge goes. But you suspect that you can drive there and back without any great issue. All right.
Steve's going to be so surprised to see us in a car, just in a vehicle just like his.
Well,
Wish I could have got one of those suits from that last bunker.
Let's see.
And so also there were gas masks, I believe, at that place. So
Yes,
we could also
yes, there were.
take a gas mask if we want.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll definitely take one of those if there's one that fits.
Ditto.
Yeah, I mean there's ample provision like that. You guys are less like, cavemen with clubs made out of parking meters and, setting your nightly campfire inside of a metal television case, and a bit more now like the explorers on the front of the 1E Gamma World box.
Hope somebody remembered to lock the doors at the missile base.
Well, there's still plenty of people there. So fear not.
These masks, I'm making the assumption they're filter based, but are they more modern than that?
They are more.
I mean,
modern.
These aren't the kind of masks that you have to urinate on to activate them, right?
Well, I wasn't gonna do that in my game, but
but now that you mention it,
yeah, no, they're just filter masks.
okay,
And the filters are the tech of the 26th century, so you don't have to change it every 4 hours.
Perfect.
All right, so driving from this point and getting on the highway near Goodwater. Well, let's just see.
Four-wheeling.
All right. You're a couple of hours out of Goodwater. You've done everything Gerg told you to do, including listening to that melodious and monotonous tune about a man who rambles.
Rambling man still going.
And oh yes. Either Gerg didn't tell you how, or he doesn't care to tell you how, or he doesn't know how to make the ancient song about a rambling man stop. And it's good for, like the first 10 or 15 minutes. Hey, ramble man again.
Yeah, it's not. Why couldn't I have natural deafness as my mutation defect?
Hey, don't you blaspheme against the Allman Brothers. But yeah, a full day of rambling, man, and you're like, I'm gonna roll on that big complex flowchart to see if I can make the radio stop.
That's right. Dead straight. The hardest one if I have to.
Yeah. You know, you're just one die roll from one of the skull and crossbone names. I don't care.
Shut the vehicle off.
All right. I don't know what that is. That sounds fascinating. Let's see. Okay, as you're tooling down the road, and I'll be nice and say that you finally figured out, well, if we turn this knob, what could it possibly hurt? And it makes the song about the rambling man stop. Or at least get faint enough that you can't notice it.
Perfect.
As you're heading down the road, there is next to the road, there is what you think initially, oh, that's some kind of mutated porcupine, but it's not. It's just some kind of spiny plant. And you see it when you kind of come over a rise, and it's about 60 meters away.
Drive around it, borrow around it.
Well, as you begin to do that, it kind of shuffles a little bit towards you. Do you guys want to do something about it or what?
Drive away faster.
Drive away faster. Okay. Who is driving, by the way? Is it Rex?
I could.
Okay. Give me a D6 roll for initiative.
Oh, no. Okay. 5.
All right. You floor it just as the thing kind of hops up, and you hear this zinging and pinging sound as it is firing these black spikes at you from its body.
He will say, "Ah!"
Noted. You succeed in saying,
try to drive away. Try to avoid it as best as he can, and crank it up to illegal speeds.
I think the last people concerned about that are long gone, but understood.
There's definitely nothing left for us here.
And I would point out, this is you are far away from Goodwater, and you are far, far away from your base, whatever you wish to call it. All right, so you're driving, it's shooting. Wow, that is pathetic. Less so, far less so. But you guys don't have the windows down or anything?
I guess it depends on the temperature. And does the air conditioning work?
It moves air around. It's not cold.
If this, well, I can't remember where we were, but I mean, if it was warm enough, he definitely would have the window open.
Okay. That's unfortunate. The hail of black spikes, most of them miss, but some of them do impact the vehicle, and a couple of them do sail through the windows and impact you guys. So on a 1-2, Rex Dashington takes a couple. On a 3-4, it's Borongo, and a 5-6, it's Milo. Milo, you take a couple of these, and you take. How many hit points does Milo have, by the way?
59.
I'm sorry, how many?
59.
Oh, 59. Then this shouldn't bother you at all. You take 9 and 13, so 22. Milo, this is very painful. You've got these you've got these spears stuck in you, and as you guys are driving down the road, Milo is being yanked out the window because there are vines attached to these.
I said yoink.
Let's see. So there's some poison going on here, unfortunately. What is your constitution?
It is 13.
13. Okay, well, it just burns like hell. And your skin's a little numb after that, but not in a good way. But it does not do additional damage nor kill you. But yeah, you are gonna be physically yanked from the vehicle and take another 3 dice when you slam onto the pavement.
Ooh.
And so that's 12. Wow, you've taken 34 points of damage as you boom, boom, boom. And you are now being bodily dragged towards this thing. It is about 50 meters away. Those of you in the car.
Did we notice?
I would hope so. Milo, do you
Okay.
cry out in pain? Do you scream in agony? As you're
I just want to make sure.
I probably did
I've
it
been in
as
this
I got
situation
slammed
before.
into the side of the window, and then again as I got yanked back out.
Okay. We'll yell, turn around. We got to get him back. I guess. Or are we going towards it? We're going towards it?
No, you passed it.
Okay.
And it
All right. I want to
fired
make
the
sure.
spears
Yeah.
as you guys drove past. A couple
Okay.
flew in the window and pranged Milo. And
Right. Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
we
Got
need to
through
turn
the
around so we
plastic
can get
armor?
him.
Well, I am going to do my best to slam on the brakes, do a skid where we turn around so that we can get out and put the car between us and the plant thing.
Just
Because
run
I'm-
over the damn thing. Right? I mean, we may
Well,
have to walk
what is
after
it?
this, but
Starting to wish I brought that power suit.
give me a D20 roll.
Six.
Okay, yeah, you kind of swerve all over the road, but you get the vehicle sideways. Let's see. Find out what. I know exactly what that creature was that hit you, but I just can't remember its name now. It is let's see.
Charles?
How'd you guess? You are being attacked. You recognize it now. It is a Horal Chew. It is dragging you towards it. What you know about the Horal Chew is that it fires these harpoon-like barbs that are about 1 meter long, impaling the flesh of what it is hungry for, drags them underneath the plant, dissolves them, and then slurps up the nutrient soup that was its victims.
Well, I knew the first part.
First-hand experience.
So
Was I able to keep my senses about me and hold on to the laser rifle?
yeah, give me what is your dex?
It is a 13.
roll a d20. Try not to roll over 13.
15.
So you're being dragged backwards away from your laser rifle as it lies there on the ground.
Damn.
You in the car. What are you doing? Oh, we should roll initiative. I think it's high time we rolled initiative here and at least gave your companion a chance to get on his feet and try and tear away from the thing. So, Kevin, since it's your hide on the line and some of it also on the road, why don't you go ahead and roll initiative for the party?
5.
Okay. You may act. What do you wish to do? You're currently lying on the ground.
Can I stand up? How far away are we from this thing after we passed it?
You got about 40 meters down the road before it yanked you out the window, and it's dragged you. I would say the recoil has brought you back about half that, so you're about 20 meters away from it.
So it's got Brongo, or it took Milo. Which one?
It's got Milo.
It's got me.
Okay.
Milo.
Oh, okay. Cool. I just want to make sure. I was like, oh. Well, I mean, obviously we need to get to it. I don't have any ranged anything. So,
well, you can spend this turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna run at it with my. What do I have? An axe. I got a spear and a short sword. Nice.
You can pick up the laser rifle that Milo dropped.
Yeah. Is it on the way?
Yeah, I mean it's lying darn near where your friend is kicking and screaming and being dragged towards a part into his
Yeah, I'll grab it. I mean, if I could grab it and shoot, I will. If I can't, then I'll get ready to shoot next round.
Okay, covering that distance and picking the gun up is the totality of your action.
Yep.
How about Rex Dashington?
So Rex is gonna get out and take cover behind the engine block.
All right.
And then shoot.
Okay, so you're
laser rifle.
Getting out, taking cover, and blasting away. Make your 2-hit roll.
5.
5. Well, let me see. What this thing's armor class is. All right. Let's see. Armor classes. And you rolled a 5, you said?
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna. Let's see. Laser rifle. Class 13. Yeah, no, that just fries a spot of pavement. Milo is dragged another 10 meters. Let's see.
Damn plants.
Yeah, it's actually fired all of its spikes for the moment. It's dragging the others in this round though. So there's these horrid spears dragging along the ground, and you have a sneaking suspicion you know what it's about to do to you when it gets the opportunity. Okay. Anybody else acting this round? It is just dragging Milo along.
Rocks or stumps or branches or anything I can grab? I don't have another weapon.
Yeah, there's some loose rocks on the ground.
Okay, I want to grab a rock and start bashing that vine or whatever that's pulling me in.
Okay. You know what? We'll consider that a fairly easy attack. This is a kind of a squishy tube-like tentacle thing. Go ahead and give me a D20 roll to smash it.
Oh, natty 20.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you bring it down on it. And that's going to be, let's see. Weapons. We're just gonna treat that like a club. So roll a d6.
4.
Okay, yeah, you smash it. Some nasty ichor comes out of it, and the whole thing kind of moans and shudders, and it's still trying to drag you towards it. But you definitely did it some damage. All right. Next round, Morongo, you have a laser rifle.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot and then run if I can run right after it to close in.
Okay. Rex, what are you gonna do?
So sorry, was Milo still grappled?
Yes.
Can I try to shoot the tentacle?
You absolutely may. So you go ahead and roll initiative then.
You said roll initiative?
Yes.
Okay. 1.
Okay. It pulls in all of the spears that it has not currently got stuck in Milo, which is many. And it's going to fire a couple more, or it's going to fire some out at Morongo and some at Rex Dashington. So let's see here. We're going to treat this as all right. That is a miss and a miss and a hit on Morongo.
I disbelieve.
Reality being that which does not go away when you stop believing in it. This hurts like a mother.
Just stick your head in the sand.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Ouch. Yeah. How many hit points you got there?
I'm at 55 unless I was damaged in the last session when I was around.
You were not. And you
Okay.
would have had time to heal up since then anyway.
Okay.
So you're at 55.
Yep.
Yeah, it does 21 to you.
Oh my god.
And
Yipes.
what is your constitution?
It's unfortunately 9.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, this thing slams into you, and it's rather distressing how it's like pumping venom into you. So let's see. Mental attack, physical attack. We're looking for poison. That's only in here 124 times. The poison matrix. I'm sorry, what was your constitution again?
It's 9. Yeah, it's on page 49.
Okay. All right,
I don't like this chart.
Ooh, that's not a good chart.
Jeez.
All right.
Hollow Notes isn't going to save me this time.
Okay. You scream in agony as this, like, you can just see it's like dripping like neon green striated with dark green goo as it kind of quivers and then slams into you in midair. You kind of go stiff, and the thing is now thump, you fall over, and it's dragging you along.
Okay.
Rex,
that's what I do.
Yeah. Rex Dashington. Your armor class is 2, correct? I'm giving you a bonus because you're hidden. Oh, look at that. So yeah, they ping against the side of the car, and one sticks into one of the self-sealing tires and yanks out, and they're sort of slithering back. But you're going to shoot at the one that is stuck in Milo, correct?
Yeah.
All right, roll it.
14.
Okay, 14. Let me see. That will hit it with a laser rifle. Roll some damage. Yes.
22.
Okay. That is actually enough. I'm going to say that much damage severs that tentacle, and it is now spewing a sap-like substance and the horrible green medicine that it is trying to further inject your friend with there. So one of the two is out now. Milo, what do you wish to do?
Is it the one that was holding me?
Well,
I'm
there are
I'm-
two that are holding you, but one
right.
of them.
I'm
one
still
of them
going to
is
bash
out.
the one that with the rock that I was.
All right, that's easy enough. Give me a roll.
An 8.
An 8. Let's see. Its armor class isn't that good. I'm going to say that these tentacle things are pretty much just open flesh, for lack of a better term, and that you successfully bash it. So go ahead and give me a.
Phew. I thought you were going to say I bashed my own toe.
Yeah, no.
3 points.
Okay.
Still reeling me in.
Much slower. Your buddy Barongo is closer to it, but it had 2 in you and was dragging you along. So you guys are like now parallel. Barongo's eyes aren't paralyzed, and they're full of pain and fear.
Fortunately, I don't really feel it since I have no sensory nerve endings, but that doesn't change the danger level.
That's almost more horrible, you know?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so it's just kind of dragging you along the gravel there, and you're like, I bet this is horrifically painful. It's just horrible. It's awful. You can kind of see that bubbling pool of digestive fluid at its base, and you now see, like, there's a femur of some unlucky thing kind of jutting up out of it, maybe a half submerged skull. New round. What y'all gonna do?
I'm gonna try to free whichever one is closest by shooting the tentacle.
Tentacles are still the closest, but not by much. As far as your friends, as I said, Barongo is lying paralyzed on the ground and being dragged towards it. Milo is a little bit more active and smashing on the tentacle with a rock. Let's go ahead and roll initiative. What'd you get?
I got a 2.
You got a 2. Okay. Uh-oh.
It's not a good sign, guys.
Uh-oh.
Should have brought that power suit.
You might want to have had, yeah. Okay.
Run it over with the car.
So
that's what I wanted.
Couple of spears fly out of it. They slam into you. Okay. You take how many hit points? I keep asking this tonight, and it's never good for you guys. But yes, how many hit points does Rex have?
56 currently.
All right. So that's 23 see, 23, 28, 38. Wow. So 43 points of damage. And what is Rex Constitution?
13.
Okay. You are not paralyzed, but the thing yanks you forward. The car is in front of you. Roll a d20.
5.
That's well under your dex, so you do not drop the laser rifle. You do have a couple of these things in you, and they are slowly dragging you across the top of the car. You may shoot one of the tentacles stuck in one of your friends.
All right. 13.
13 will hit. That is 5d6.
66?
66.
Let's see. 22 again.
22. Okay. Let me see. All right. Well, that is enough to sever the tentacle. Who are you aiming at? One dragging Milo or the one dragging Barongo?
Probably the one dragging Milo.
Okay. Milo, there is a crack and a pop, and now there's a second tentacle spraying horrible goo and withdrawing into the thing. But you are now no longer held. What do you wish to do?
Okay, I want to run back to the car and get my other laser rifle that's inside.
All right. That is what you will spend the round doing. Kevin Barongo is now like a meter away from becoming Campbell's adventurer from Concentrate.
I'm doing my best to dig the biggest trough I can as I'm dragged.
I'm sorry. Condensed adventurer, rather.
Condensed adventurer. Need some grilled cheese.
Okay. It's great rainy day food for horrible creatures as you're being dragged along. So let me see. You guys have done 22, 44. You've done a lot of damage to it. So let's see. Well, more than 44, almost 50. Let's see here. Yeah, there's ichor leaking out of it from the severed tentacles copiously. The stuff is just pumping out in big puddles on the ground. It's kind of not looking that good. It has started to move towards you guys slightly. Milo was shooting at it. Or no, Milo was going for his gun. So Milo, you make it to the car. I think this is going to be a very critical initiative. You know what, Kevin? Why don't you go ahead and roll for the party?
You sure?
Yes.
My luck's not been very good so far.
Well, go ahead. Give it a shot.
Your life's in your own hands.
Oh, yeah, it sure is. Not so good, guys. It's a 1. So.
Okay. Well, with some ancillary feeding tentacles, the thing pulls you in greedily and submerses you down into the tarry sap-like substance underneath it, and you kind of start to watch blisters raise and bubble along your skin, and you think, man, this would suck if I could feel this.
I try to use as much potential energy as I can, as gravity pulls me down, to make it harder for them without actually doing anything.
Okay. pulls in its remaining tentacles and is kind of waving the spikes in the party's general direction. Hey, Lord Corion just bought you a reroll.
Okay, so I guess I will try that.
All right, roll it.
Oh, it's a 5 this time.
Okay, you guys can shoot at it. You were in fact being dragged through a puddle of its ichor there, not being pushed into the digestive pit yet.
Well, that's good. That helps.
Well, I'm gonna take a shot at the tentacles holding him.
Okay.
7.
7 at this range. Yeah, it's not gonna hit.
I'm also. Can I take a shot too? You said
Yeah,
I could
absolutely.
card? Oh, that's a 1.
That's a 1.
Yeah.
Roll a d6.
2.
You do not shoot your friend. You blast the pavement next to him.
Probably would have been more kind.
Okay, so yeah, now it drags you over and begins to immerse you into the sticky digestive fluids as it's eagerly, you're not sure, but you think you're picking up faint psychic emanations. It's like, die, feed me, die.
Tastes like burning. Okay.
Like, I mean, you're not dead. It's not like an insta death thing. You still have hit points. So adventurers, it's a new round. Your friend is now, like the slacker he is, he's just relaxing in the shade under this bush-like thing, just sort of sitting there staring at you.
I'm gonna try to hit the broadside of a barn this time.
All right.
17 to hit.
That will hit.
That's 66. 26.
Okay. There is a pop and a crack, and Barongo, you are covered in plant juice, and the tentacles with the spears that were stabbed through you just kind of go limp.
Perfect.
And after a few minutes, you feel the motive ability come back into your limbs, and you can crawl out of the digestive juices.
I'm going to try to do that at the first opportunity.
Okay. All right. You did take some damage from the digestive. Oh, God, that's the worst die roll. 2, 3, 4, 7, 9. 9 points on 5d6 of digestion.
That's a good roll.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try to hit the thing too.
It is dead. It is burst,
Popped,
and it is kind of on fire.
I'm glad it barfed him out. I was gonna thinking about trying to cut him open, but I don't even have anything sharp.
Is there anything useful we can do with the ichor or any of the plant material?
You think it's got like some seeds or spores if you want to grow more of these things?
No, I'll just.
No.
Yeah.
Let it burn.
So, yeah, we'll take time to get Morongo out, and then I will try to burn everything else that's left with whatever brush I can find.
Alrighty. You do not attract anything as far as anyone coming over to investigate what exactly is going on. Morongo, yeah, the numbness. Well, I say the numbness leaves your limbs, but you can't really feel anything to begin with. So
But they do move now.
yeah, the
We're sitting.
paralysis leaves you. You get these, horrible suffocating wounds, and you're not sure where your life's blood begins and the monster ichor ends. But yeah, it was trying to turn you into a boil in a bag meal. Now I will point out, you guys do have your you guys do in fact have your
Metapacks.
metapacks you can completely heal yourselves with if you want to go have a lie down in the auto.
What time
I
of day
think
is
I
it?
will definitely do it because I'm way down. I'm at 14.
It is
Yeah,
late.
no,
It is late morning. This is just a few hours drive out of good water.
And what's his name? The real big guy, the HVAC. What was that, Manny?
Yeah, Manny.
He couldn't fit in a car before, and he was sitting outside somehow. What was he sitting in?
Basically, just the trunk was flipped open, and he was sitting in the trunk with
Okay,
the hatch open.
I'd also like to do that for a while.
Okay, are you that big?
No, but if I sit in the sun for a while, I heal hit points at 4 times faster than normal.
Okay, so you're not gonna use a med kit. You're just gonna heal up normally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what does that entail? If you heal 1 to 3 hit points a day, so that means you'd heal
4 times, so 4 to 12.
Okay.
So for the rest of the day, while the sun is up, as you guys ride along, and I just want to point this out: you do pass the sign that that indicates the settlement that the Orlan had. Just letting you know, they're apparently still there.
Nice.
They seemed friendly enough. 2, 6, 10, 12. You get back 12 hit points.
Cool.
As you motor along during the day, and we'll check a couple more times.
We do need to come back and deal with the Orlan issue. Not today.
Deal with the Orlan? That's a little sinister sounding, a little ominous. Yes, let's deal with the Orlan. How dare they be nice and trade technology and watch our southern approaches. We'll teach them. So you make it back to Outpost 76 with your vehicle full of food and your party members full of holes and venom. At first, there are guards who, you see the guard towers on the hills. There are spears thrown at you and crossbow bolts fired at you. Fortunately, you're traveling fast enough and you're far enough away that nothing strikes your vehicle. But
flipping the bird.
So you pull up to the main gate of the outpost, and their fearful eyes watch you because I think is it just Barongo at this point is the only survivor from the outpost who's with the party right now?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, all they see is Rex Dashington in the land vehicle, and someone, like I said, you've got bows and arrows and spears pointed in your general direction, and a voice calls out from the rampart, "Intruder, what do you want?"
I'll roll down the window and say, no, it's not an intruder. They're with me. And hopefully, stick my head out so they can see. with my sign, right?
Okay,
that they
all
gave
right.
me.
Do you not recognize the mighty adventures of...
There's a few moments of confusion and shouting and that sort of thing, and
I start yelling for my mom.
all right. They finally, a ragged cheer goes up and the gates begin to open, and it seems like the whole village, the whole outpost population, which admittedly is not that big, has turned out. And there's Gerg's parents, and there's the rather gargantuan parents of Manny's first character. You know, they all greet you, and there's they make way, and Steve approaches, and he eyes your vehicle appreciatively and says, "Strangers, you have brought one of the sons of Outpost 76 back. What news from Goodwater?"
Good news. We brought supplies. And Rex will, with a flourish, open the trunk and the doors so that everybody can see the supplies.
Well, everyone,
After
there's
Milo
like a
crawls
collective gasp as they see, you know, the bushels of corn and the you know, the bags of beans and rice and other produce items. And Steve turns to you and says, "Barongo, truly, this will save us for this season. Then are our fears unfounded? Was it some kind of crisis at Goodwater? Do the good people there still live?"
They do now, thanks to us.
Yes.
There was a crisis. They were taken over by the vile Knights of Genetic Purity. But we saved a lot, taught the Knights a lesson, and returned home, or returned back here. I've never been here before.
Oh.
To bring supplies to the village. And then I go find Mo's mom and tell him how he died valiantly.
Oh, well, it hits them hard. It hits them hard. But you have saved the village, the outpost, and Steve is looking very appreciatively at your ground car of the ancients. This is a fine mobile pulpit that you have.
Thanks, Steve.
Many horses.
So, Steve, we were wondering, there seems to be a lot of, shall we say, extra room now in Goodwater, and everyone was hoping the good people of Outpost 76 would move to Goodwater itself.
We hold these passes against the mutants and creatures from, not you folks, the bad ones, from the radioactive waste beyond the hills.
Well, we have an even better base, a more secure base that we could defend near Goodwater.
All right. He says, I must discuss this with the elders. What is Rex's charisma?
14.
14. Okay.
That point's already helping.
He seems a little skeptical, but no, he's not entirely negative on the idea. He says, "First, we must welcome you home with a proper feasting. And if you guys agree to stick around for that, the little bit of food that they had left and some of the food that you brought is prepared, and you eat a good home cooked meal that night. Everybody wants to sit in the car. Everybody, it's like somebody by accident figures out how to turn the sound system back on, and you're not sure, but you think the new national anthem of Outpost 76 is the Allman Brothers Ramblin' Band now. So morning comes. Nothing horrible happens that night. Let's see. Steve is still troubled about the security of the lands beyond Outpost 76. You know, he's the current the current high priest of the Tekanish, and it's been handed down for generations to be the spiritual leader for Outpost 76. And you know, I don't know if I go, then who will lead the people?
You will, Steve, but you'll just lead them in a new location.
There is wisdom in your words, stranger. I do worry about the passes being overrun, and if we are too far removed from them, we cannot warn those in the valleys and plains beyond. But perhaps for the good of all people, we should find a newer, safer home.
I think that's very wise. The ancients would probably approve.
Bring forth my ride. And he walks behind the ancient building there that is the center of Outpost 76. And some ritually garbed folks in blue coveralls roll the mobile pulpit of Steve of the Tekanish out where everybody can see it. Everybody can see it there. And everyone intones solemnly, "Hi, Steve." And he responds ritually, "Can I get you folks anything or check your oil?" And they respond back, "Sure." And so he stands up. He too is adorned ritually in a many times repaired and patched. Obviously, it's some kind of ritual holy garment. It's a blue. It covers his arms and legs and torso. One uniform piece. A silken oval over the left breast. Over the right breast, a circle faded away almost completely. A blue 7 and a 6 surrounded by orange. He says, "Some of our sons have not returned home to us, but these heroes have. I think it is time to open a new location somewhere further up the highway, folks." And he basically kind of goes on for a while, delineating that the tribe of Outpost 76 will move on. One of the elder, but not as elderly as Steve is, tribesman comes forward and bows and says, "Where will we go? And how far away is it? Steve is our leader, but he is coming near his time when he must return to the earth. Surely you see that. A journey across many hundreds of kilometers. Well, I shudder to think.
It'll be fine. You have us.
Drive
This
Steve back and they can walk.
This
rest.
is my concern. But generally speaking, if Steve wills it, even if some people in the outpost are reluctant, most people will willingly go. There are questions like, how do we fit everybody into one of these? Does it become longer? Do we tie carts to it? Exactly how does this work?
How many people are there?
There are about 170 people here.
All right. We don't have a Cadillac.
You don't have an
even have
airport. You
We
don't
don't
have an
have a clown
airport.
car.
No airport limousine and no mall parking lot transit trolley. You have some pull carts and you have Steve's pulpit, which is apparently just a vehicle of the ancients with no motive capability other than to be rolled back and forth by hand, which you think you could maybe tie a rope to it, but that would be up to you guys.
I mean, we could make a bunch of trips.
We didn't happen to see like a
Or a
vehicle.
big long caravan, but that'd be a sitting duck for everything.
I'm sorry, a question about vehicles?
We didn't happen to see a larger vehicle, even a mobile, right? Like something that, you know, square and longer that we could tow, maybe.
There were a few things like that back at the base, but they were completely rusted out and burned and blasted. You think they must have been sitting out there when the Great War happened
Okay.
and were completely wrecked by that. I mean, there are parts that were melted and mashed into the into the earth.
Not towable, draggable, which isn't helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. The carts and Steve's mobile lectern, which again is just a car that doesn't work anymore other than to roll. Give me a mental, not the psychic strength,
Okay.
you know, basically roll a d20 and you're trying to roll less than your int.
Well, my int is 17, so I got a 5.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you think basically if you made a train, a motive train of carts, that you could get probably 80 or 90 people, but it would take you about an extra half day to get back to Goodwater. So you'd be leaving a good portion of people behind, but you could also get a good portion. Because at most, if you pile people on top, you know, if you go undeveloped country style, we lost somebody. But if you go undeveloped country style, or slightly less developed country style, depending on your point of view, you would have to, at most, that would be like a couple of dozen people, and it wouldn't really be safe, because it would be people clinging to the running boards and hanging on the roof, and like 8 people sitting, you know, like crammed in, sitting in the trunk with the lid up and everything. You couldn't go more than a few kilometers an hour. Like maybe 10 or 20 kilometers an hour at most, without slinging people off. That is your hot take on it.
Okay. Seems unreasonable. Too risky. These aren't combatants. They're just farmers, and I don't even call them townsfolk. They're less than that, right? So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a good. they've kind of lived on the sharp end for a long time. I mean, they're fairly hardy folk.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we could try the hooking up.
Hey, Milo returneth.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I understand. Sometimes you got to use the slit trench. I get it.
No, don't know. Peter just went.
Okay, so what you gonna do?
Well, I mean, it sounds like the most efficient way is to hook up those carts and stuff together and take, like half if we can, or a third. And we'll probably have to make several trips.
Okay.
Unless anybody else has another idea.
Towing those things sounds about the only way to go, but do we want to leave this whole area unguarded, like Steve said?
Well, we'd probably have to, we could start taking like the weaker members, the younger, the older, start taking them first. And like leave the guards for the last group.
Are you having this discussion like in front of everybody? I'm just curious, Game Master.
We probably shoot everyone else away.
Okay,
got in the
fair.
car and turned the radio up about as loud as we could go.
I assumed we were in the great hall.
Born a rambling man.
I assume we were probably in the great hall of the Tekkenish.
Well, that's wherever you guys want to. I mean, people are curious about Rex and curious about the car. So, you get up the next morning, and anyone who's not working on the garden patches, guarding the wall, drawing water, making bricks, doing all that villagery kind of stuff, are hanging on to you. What's it like out there? Are you really from the ancient times? I don't know if you told them that. So, that's I
don't think he would have told them that.
Okay.
Just because Steve really seems to be into the ancients.
Okay. Was the mechanical man inside your car really born a rambling man? It says it a lot over and over again. It's very nice, but it's repetitive.
It's very important. The ancients wanted to make sure you knew this.
Oh.
And he is rambling vocally, continuously. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no livestock that people could ride?
Not that people can ride. There are, the analog equivalent of cows and pigs.
You can ride cows.
That's abominable, man. Sorry.
So
we can make
in the car, going back and forth, we've had, I would say, a few pretty nasty encounters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Going fast. We got to figure something out, right? Because if they're going to be riding in a cart at 30 miles a day, or 64 kilometers a day, or whatever it ends up being.
No, you could go a little bit. Well, you'd be pulling. Yeah, probably not much more than that.
Right. So, I guess we'll have a little more notice that there's a problem, maybe, but less ability to escape, right? I wonder how safe that kind of transport's going to be. How many people are armed and knowing enough of the area that we could have active at any given time, right? If we did shifts or whatever.
Everyone above the age of 10 at Outpost 76, pure strain human, slight mutation, guys like Manny's character are at the very least capable of wielding a farm implement as a melee weapon. They will not go down without a fight. These are tough, hardy people.
Okay. Well,
Now,
I mean, I guess that's positive, right?
Yeah.
Crossbows and slings.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's got to be one person driving, and then, the other two can sort of be on guard duty, with laser rifles at the ready.
Okay, so if you guys bring this idea to Steve, well, I don't want to assume a single thing. Are you guys bringing this idea to Steve?
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
is the idea a single large procession, or are we talking multiple trips?
Both.
Yeah,
Okay.
a single large procession will bring you about 2/3 of the population, maybe 4/5.
Steve doesn't have any better ideas? He doesn't know of anything? No riding beasts?
Yeah, no, the animals, you'll have to, they'll have to come up with some ad hoc carts to put the animals in, just so you're not slowed down further. And Steve thinks that the best way to go about it would be to basically to not leave, like, okay, we'll just take all the women and children and elderly with us, and then it's just you three guys protecting 60, 70 people who are maybe not combat effective, or conversely, well, we'll just take all the guards and a few people and then leave the rest of the people unguarded. So you'll basically take percentages, if you follow what I'm saying.
Sure. So that we have a better chance of success.
Yeah,
Use some
yeah,
of the
you'll-
old and
you'll-
take some of the guards, and vice versa next time.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you'll do ratios, as it were. You'll take X percentage of people and X percentages of guards, but it won't be, like,
Yep.
all women and children and no guards, and then you
Like
guys get
Homer does
ambushed
something.
by, a blast just swoops down and makes a smorgasbord out of your vehicle train there.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go myself, because it does leave whoever's left also has the ability to defend themselves, right?
Right.
Should something happen while we're gone, because we're going to be gone for a while. Right?
Yeah, again, it's going to be a day and a half one way, a little bit faster coming back, but not too much, because you can't bounce the carts all over the place. So what the folk of Outpost 76 are going to do is spend a week, 7 sunsets, basically just getting the entire village ready to move. Anything that's not bolted down, and a lot of stuff that is bolted down, they are taking apart and packing away. They're getting ready to roll. They're getting ready to roll. You have convinced them to head out. So during that week, is there anything you guys want to do? Any exploration around the area around Outpost 76 to see if you can find more ancient vehicles to use as part of your train or anything like that? Or are you going to help out here?
Is our car the one that we found at that first base that we smashed into the tree?
Yes, there were two vehicles. You smashed one into a tree, and no, it was Bubbles. Bubbles drove one into a tree after beating the dash to Flinders with a monkey wrench.
Mm-hmm. So is that one still there?
Yes, it is.
We could go get that one.
Wasn't there stuff in that building as well that we could use for containers and stuff? Like water?
Possibly.
that
Was only a day's walk.
Yeah, we could drive there real quick while the village is gearing up and during that week and check that out again.
And so, is there anybody at Outpost 76 who might know how to repair a mobile pulpit?
It's interesting you should ask that. There are holy texts in binders inside the rectory of Steve of the Techinish that have many things about ancient ways and so on recorded in them.
So maybe we can bring the car back. Can we tow it back and then try to fix it here?
It's possible. What
do you guys think?
Yeah, we should do that. At least we got one more vehicle. Maybe we can bring some more people.
Yes.
Even if we got to tow both. Sounds like a plan, guys. Break.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I think then we are going to go ahead, since we have so many players out, and this is kind of a good stopping point because you're now going to go off on another small quest. Yeah. We don't want to leave them out of the fun. We'll pick this up next Friday night. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds great to me.
Great. All right. I want to thank all my players for being here, and the awful, horrible spear tentacle plant attack. And
the plants in this game are the worst. When I get back to base, I'm throwing out every house plant we got.
Yes.
We need to see if there's a supply of Roundup anywhere.
Yeah, Roundup or bleach or
Agent Orange.
Might have to use salt if we really get angry.
Copper oxidized sulfate something. Yeah. All right, and of course, again, I want to thank our audience. Thank you for the super chats tonight, guys. That was hella fun. Thank you as always to our Patreons and everybody out there who watches and enjoys the show. And if you like it, please do click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for future notifications, and you won't miss a single live stream episode for either of the games we stream and all the other fun. And by the way, I do not have the link handy, but if you're a member of our Discord, then please check it for updates. Guac is coming. The Great Underground Online Gaming Convention is happening this May, and we're going to have just a final time with that. So thanks again, players. Thanks, audience. It was an absolutely fun Friday evening, and we'll see you next time. Peace out, everybody.